Welcome to the 9-on-9 Soccer preseason presentation. This video will contain some important policies and procedures that as a captain you should be ready to share with all of your teammates. Before we get started, we would first like to thank our presenting sponsor, Foxridge Apartment Homes, for all that they do for the Intramural Sports program. New this year, teams will only need 6 players to begin a 9-on-9 soccer game. Teams with less than 6 players will have a 10-minute grace period to get a full team. We want to ask teams to show up early so we can keep games on time throughout the night. As was just stated, a team that does not have enough players to begin the game at the scheduled game time will have a 10-minute grace period to find extra players. After the grace period ends, a team without the required number will forfeit the game. If both teams do not have enough players, it will be a double forfeit. If a team gets enough players before the 10-minute grace period is over, the game can be started immediately. However, if the opposing team had enough to begin at the scheduled game time, that team will have the option to start the game with a 0-0 score or to start the game ahead by the mercy rule score. This is a policy change from previous years. Keep in mind that we do have roster restrictions for 9-on-9 soccer for both varsity and sport club athletes. Details about roster restrictions are outlined in the information sheet for 9-on-9 soccer. Varsity soccer athletes may not play intramural soccer, and a maximum of 3 varsity athletes can play on any one team. Additionally, a maximum of 3 sport club soccer players are allowed on any one team. All former and current professional athletes are ineligible to play intramurals. If you believe a team has an ineligible player, you may file a protest with the supervisor on site. There is no game limit to add players to your team roster. Players may be added throughout the entire season and are added to your roster when they check in for a game with their Hokie passport. A player can participate on 1 single-sex or 1 co-rec team. New for this year, players are locked on a roster 3 weeks after the season begins. For all competitive divisions, this coincides with the start of the playoff tournament. As a captain, you are allowed to protest ineligible players and rule misapplications. Eligibility protests may be made at any point in time during the game. A rule protest, however, must be made prior to the restart of play. In order to submit a formal protest, please find the supervisor on site and they will administer the situation. Following each contest, the intramural staff will rate the sportsmanship for each team. All teams that finish the regular season with a 3.0 average are eligible for the playoffs. All teams must maintain a 3.0 in the playoffs in order to advance. A team that displays poor sportsmanship is subject to removal from the league, and a player that displays poor sportsmanship is subject to ejection and suspension. Please remember that it is a privilege to play intramurals, so play hard, play fair, and respect the game. Soccer is played between 2 teams of 9, and a team must have 6 players to begin a game. The game consists of 2 20-minute halves with a running clock. Teams are not allowed any timeouts during the game. During regular season, a game may end in a tie. However, all games will be played until there is a winner during the playoffs. Overtime rules will be posted online on the 9-on-9 soccer information sheet. The game begins with a kickoff in which the ball must be moved forward and cannot be played twice by the kicker until touched by another player. The ball is out of play when it completely crosses the touch line or the goal line. For all throw-ins, the thrower-in must have both feet on the ground and throw the ball over the head in one continuous motion. If an illegal throw is called, the ball will be awarded to the opponent for a throw-in at that spot. During a throw-in, you must give the thrower-in 2 yards to complete the throw. Any violation of this is penalized with a yellow card. On a goal kick, kickoff, or any yellow or red card, both teams are allowed substitutions. However, on a throw-in or a corner kick, only the team in possession of the ball may substitute. If the team in possession wishes to sub, the opponent is allowed to sub as well. All substitutions must wait until they are called onto the field by the referee. Offside rules are enforced in intramural soccer. If a player is nearer to the opponent's goal line than the ball or the second-to-last defender and participates in the play, it is a violation of the rules. This violation is penalized with an indirect kick for the opposing team. Offside rules do not apply in a team's own defensive half. Rules regarding indirect and direct free kicks are similar to those used in high school soccer. Indirect free kicks may be awarded for dangerous play, obstruction, offside, and any stoppage for injury. Direct free kicks may be awarded for handling, tripping, pushing, and other physical contact. Additionally, goal kicks, corner kicks, and kickoffs are all types of direct free kicks. Players may be penalized with a yellow or red card in situations where they display unsporting behavior, commit repeated minor fouls, or commit fouls with excessive physical contact. The only change in our rules as compared to high school rules is that slide tackles from behind are automatic red cards. The mercy rule for 9-on-9 soccer is 3 or more goals in the last 2 minutes or less in any men's or women's game, and 7 or more goals in a co-rec game. Please see below for our co-rec modifications to 9-on-9 soccer. With regards to equipment, teams may now wear black jerseys as officials will wear yellow during the games. Goalkeepers must wear a color different from both teams, and no metal spikes or front toe cleats are allowed. All soccer games will be played at the South Recreation Area fields. Practice equipment is available for checkout, and remember that captains may agree to use a non-intramural sports ball as long as both teams are in agreement. All jewelry must be removed prior to participating, and the only exception made is for medical alert jewelry. Any medical alert item must first be shown to a supervisor or official and then secured with tape prior to participating. For all team contests, each team must have a white and dark colored shirt or jersey. A team that does not have enough jerseys to play will forfeit the game. Remember that intramural staff will not provide any jerseys or shirts for checkout. Dark colored jerseys must be a similar shade of color across the entire team, so each team clearly contrasts. In situations where teams show up with a similar color, it will be up to the captains to determine who will wear which color. If teams cannot reach an agreement, both teams will forfeit the game. For administrative purposes, all player jerseys must have numbers in 9-on-9 soccer. Numbers can be 1 or 2-digit whole numbers and should be distinct for each team member. They should be clearly visible from at least 10 yards away. Remember that taping jersey numbers is not allowed. All game status decisions will be made by 4 p.m. daily. After 4 p.m., game status is determined by intramural staff on site. To see the most current game status, follow us on Twitter or Facebook. If you have any questions that were not covered in this video, or any that come up throughout the season, please feel free to check out our policy page online, email us at imsports@vt.edu, call us, or stop by our office in War Memorial Hall. Thank you, good luck, and have a great season.